What's up, everybody? It's your girl Megan, Show Up Fitness Instructor, and today I'm going to go over Section 4 of the Nasm textbook, tell you what you don't need to read, and all the concepts you need to know if you're trying to pass that Nasm CPT. Now, if it is your first time tuning in, I am our in-person instructor here in La Jolla, California, as well as our online instructor for a past Nasm and any other basic CPT course. And thanks to the help of our study guide and weekly Zoom calls, we've been able to help over 3,100 people pass this thing, and we can help you too. But of course, here at Show Up Fitness, we want to make sure that you guys have all the tools necessary to make this a long-lasting and successful career, which is why we have our own money-back guarantee SUF-CPT that if you feel like you didn't learn more during our course than you did reading a textbook, we'll give you guys your money back. But of course, we realize that you may be going to a gym that only accepts specific CPTs, or it may be too late to get that refund. So that's why we offer these resources such as the YouTubes, our study guides, our weekly Zoom calls, one-on-one tutoring. If you need that, go ahead and reach out. And of course, our extra quizzes so you guys can pass this thing, but also pass it as fast as possible so you do not waste any more time from getting hands-on experience. But of course, you guys are here to pass the Nasm CPT, so let's get to it. Section 4, assessments, going to be a big section if you're looking at that. Chapter 11, we'll look at first. Health, wellness, and fitness assessments. So the first thing here on page 343, contraindications, a term that you're going to need to know. Basically just saying that if you have a specific individual that has a problem or issue, you want to refrain from certain exercises for them. So if you have an elderly, obese, prenatal client, people are taking specific medications, certain exercises to be cautious or stay away from so they don't get injured there. Then, of course, at the bottom of it, Part Q, what does it stand for? Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. Basically, just a questionnaire, making sure that your client is able to partake in physical activity. Keep on going, just skip. These are just to go over things, right? So not going into too much detail, just a quick overview. Said it before, page 353, just know blood pressure, the difference between systolic, the top, and diastolic, the bottom pressure. Hypertension, what does that mean? High blood pressure, 140/90. Once again, I went over it before, but know that. Where are you testing your client's resting heart rate at? It's going to be at the radial pulse. It's going to be that thumb side of the wrist. Make sure you know that. It's not going to be the other ones. Keep on going. Page 357, BMI. What does that stand for? Body mass index. When you skip to the next page at 358, make sure you know the appropriate ranges for BMI. So there's a lot of ranges on here. The three main ones that you're looking at is healthy, overweight, and obese. So healthy, you're looking at 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight, you're looking at 25 to 29.9. And obese, you're looking at over 30 there. Keep on going. Circumference, know that where you're measuring there. Page 363 gets into skin fold measurements. Definitely could see a question. Their favorite, going to be on the next page, 364. Dernan-Wormsley test. Know the 4 sites that you're testing there: bicep, tricep, subscapularis, and suprailiac crest. And if you get a little harder question, what type of folds are there? So bicep and triceps are going to be vertical versus suprailiac and subscapularis is going to be a diagonal fold. Specifically for your suprailiac, you're going to measure it above at a 45-degree angle there. So that's for the body caliper testing. Obviously, there's other ways that you can measure body fat percentage. So BIA, what does that stand for? Bioelectrical impedance analysis. So you guys probably have seen those, scales that you can step on and hold something. Basically just saying that. Hydrostatic underweighing, you could see that. But the main one that they like to use, once again, is body caliper testing. Then we finally hit 368 and fourth for cardio assessments. Just at least know or be able to determine if a test is a cardio versus a performance test. So here we'll see the 3 main ones: your YMCA step test, 3 minutes, trying to get as many steps as you can, 96 within that 3-minute period. The Rockport walk test, clients are doing these walking a mile as fast as they can. And then the next one is a 1.5 mile, 1.5 mile run test. They're just running that 1.5 miles. Those are the 3 main cardio ones. You could also see the talk test, which refers to the ventilatory threshold on page 375. You have VT1, VT2. People get super freaked out about this. Just know the basics that VT1 is going to be more aerobic with oxygen. You're doing a nice and easy jog. You have 50-50 fats and carbs as fuel. It's pretty easy to hold a conversation here. Versus when you get VT2, the second one, I think you've stepped up a little bit. Now it's more challenging. It's anaerobic without oxygen. So you're looking at more towards carbs, that glucose as your fuel source. Think if you're doing a sprint, maybe I can say yes or no, but there's no way I could formulate a sentence anymore. So that's why it's called the talk test. So VT1, easy, could probably do it. VT2, not really talking at that point. Once again, don't get too caught up on that. If you don't understand it, not a big portion that you're going to see. And that is it for chapter 11. So chapter 12, here we go. Big one, postural movement and performance assessments. This is a big section, so make sure that you own this. It's going to be going over overactive and underactive muscles, a big thing that we talk about in our calls, the differences between that, how can you determine which is which. So when you look at page 384, static postural assessment, there's 3 postural distortion patterns that you can see, which are going to be on the next page, 386. You have upper cross syndrome, lower cross syndrome, and pes planus distortion syndrome. Basically, all of these, along with the following that you'll see next, the overhead squat assessment, your client has some sort of compensation, and because of that, what muscle is going to be overactive, tight, short, what muscle is going to be underactive, weak, and lengthened. And because of that, what do you want to do to that? So if you've been on our calls, you know that overactive muscles, we want to stretch and foam roll them. Foam roll, SMR, self-myofascial release, and that stretching, static stretching for about 30 seconds there. You'll know that underactive muscles, because they're weak and lengthened, we want to strengthen them at a 4-2-1 tempo. And this is why we do it. It's because it's phase 1 stabilization, where we're looking to improve those muscle imbalances, those overactive and underactive muscles. So you can see as we go throughout these pages that there's going to be specific muscles that are going to be over and active for each compensation. And you can try to memorize each chart, or if you have our guide, we have a chart on there that's going to list the overactive and underactive muscles. As long as you can determine which one is which, you'll be good to go there. No need in trying to memorize every single possible overactive and underactive muscle for each compensation. It's a lot of work. Just know if a muscle is overactive and underactive, and even from there, if it's upper body versus lower body. Because when you're taking the test, more often than not, they'll be asking for an overactive muscle, and they're only going to give one possible answer as overactive. And if they give 2, it's going to be the difference between an upper body and lower body muscle there. So save yourself the time from reading through all these charts that you'll see in the next pages or so, and just go through that chart that we have. I missed it before, but there's 5 main checkpoints. I do have a video on that, along with the overhead squat assessment as well. Those are where the compensations occur with those 5 main checkpoints. So looking at your head, neck, shoulders, your hips, your LPHC, lumbo-pelvic hip complex, knees, and feet and ankle complex. Because of that, where are the muscles around that are going to be having a problem or an issue there? So we'll keep on moving on, pushing and pulling assessments. Same thing, just looking for overactive, underactive muscles. Then finally, page 400, going to performance assessments, like you mentioned earlier, be able to determine the difference between cardio and performance. So performance, we're testing here. You'll see for push-ups, it's going to be for upper body endurance. For bench press squat, you're looking at strength. And then we get into jumps, you're looking for power. So the vertical jump for height there, long jump, distance. You have the left test, the pro shuttle, looking at agility. 40-yard dash, looking at max speed there. So just be able to know the basics of it. Don't get too caught up on every little detail. And that's good there. And like I mentioned earlier, with contraindications, remember the specific populations. So overweight, obese clients, youth, elderly, prenatal clients. What do you want to be cautious with? So our elderly, older clients, even prenatal, maybe want to modify the overhead squat. Refrain from single leg activities, and make sure that they're standing or seated in upright positions, especially for prenatal clients in their 2nd and 3rd trimester, making sure that they're not in a prone or supine position. So prone, my knuckles are facing up, supine, they're facing towards me. That's a difference there. So basically, I'm not going to have my client, especially if she's pregnant, on her stomach. I'm not going to have her laying flat. I'd rather have her seated as I am such, or standing up there. And that is it for section 4. So that was super fast, super easy. Once again, do have more videos on my YouTube, so you can go ahead, check that out if you want more detail on those specific concepts. Or of course, go ahead and join our calls that happen every week so you can ask us questions and go more into detail on those concepts. Of course, our guide is key. It's going to make sure that you guys have all the details that you need to pass this test. And of course, save you time from reading the 700-page book. Just go ahead and continue watching our YouTubes and our videos so you pass this as fast as possible. Unfortunately, a lot of times the feedback that I get from people passing the test is that they still don't know how to properly train people and they don't feel confident doing so, which is why here at Show Up Fitness, we do have our in-person internship here in La Jolla, California, as well as Santa Monica, West Hollywood. And of course, if you cannot come in person, we do have online. We can reach you wherever you're at, anywhere in the world, so you can still learn at the comfort of your own home. And of course, if you cannot come to us, we will come to you. We have weekend seminars occurring every month or so make sure that you still gain that hands-on experience. Of course, before you go, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as you guys all know, if you want to become a great, successful personal trainer, all you got to do is show up. It's your girl, Megan, out of here.